We're talking about Mr. PowerOfEvil. The All-Star votes were coming in today. They were released, the percentages about how guys got released. And obviously, PoE did a little thread on Reddit. People have been upset with him for going to NA after saying, you know, he loves EU, he bleeds EU. He had this whole campaign for coming to the All-Stars as an EU representative. Then he made this massive thread about, you know, answering some questions. And some of it was enlightening, some of the stuff he said. But one of the best quotes is him saying, by the way, the votes weren't even close. I can't give you the numbers. But, well, now we can give you the numbers. And he got over 53% of the votes in that mid lane, which is actually pretty insane.
That's pretty nuts. And I mean, we heard about all the campaigning he was doing, and it obviously paid off. If you get over 50%, the majority vote, which is almost unheard of when it comes to all-star voting, obviously with so much talent. Even in the mid lane, there's Perks and Fibavin as well, just sitting there. And it's PowerOfEvil who gets over 50% of the votes after a pretty good performance at Worlds, but part of that was empowered by Misfits. And now the outrage from EU fans has been pretty incredible, and partly understand why, but at the same time, look, this guy left for an incredible opportunity in North America with OpTic Gaming. Obviously, the contract is going to be greater than what he was offered in Europe to stay with Misfits, to go to some other teams. So at one point, you have to respect his decision to just go to North America and say, I can't pass this up. You saw with other guys who aren't getting flamed, like Fevin went over, Sven and Mithy to a degree. Still, European fans are not thrilled about it, but they understand it. I think the only reason that PowerOfEvil is getting so upset was his major campaign to go to this EU LCS All-Stars and then all of a sudden leave, even though in this Reddit post he was saying, look, it's just 2017's performance. Doesn't matter what I'm going to do next year. I still want to represent Europe as their best mid laner from this year. And that's where it starts to get upset. Obviously, people are like, you should give it up to Perks. And screw you, because you're not in Europe anymore, you shouldn't represent the region. I mean, sure, but NA, for the longest time, has had guys not from North America representing them at Worlds on this All-Star stage. So I get it. I know why you're mad at PowerOfEvil, but at the same time, he's leaving because it's the best for his future. And I think you got to respect it. I do. I understand it's hard for you to keep seeing your talent leave your region. But man, this guy has such a good opportunity ahead of him. The team might still suck, but at least he's going for, hopefully, contract stability and a lot of money.
Yeah, I think the main issue I have with this whole PoE thing is he said, in some of these interviews, he was saying he's going to NA with the hopes of still going to Worlds, and then in this thread, he said, you never know what would happen with Misfits, with Ignar leaving. There were some question marks there with the team. All the other teams are changing in EU. But don't say you're going to NA to win, to still have a hope at being top 4, because, I mean, that OpTic roster has maybe a 1 or 2% chance of probably going to Worlds with the stacked franchise that's coming in here. All you had to say was, I'm going to NA. There's a fantastic opportunity for my career going forward that I don't want to pass up. Okay, perfect. Of course. You're going to get paid a lot of money to go there, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People go for, you know, things like that, for money and to further their careers, for a great opportunity in eSports. They do it in regular sports. They do it in basically any career. It makes sense. But you're not going to win. You can't. I know he wants to win. Obviously, he's not like, well, let's go lose. I'm going to lose every game. We're going to go 0-18. I can't wait. Obviously, he wants to win, but I mean, and you got to have those expectations, but deep down inside, it's a great opportunity. So they're probably not going to win. They're probably not going to go to World, but it's a great opportunity, and he's representing EU even though he's NA.
Yeah, he's definitely backpedaling too far. As soon as you get questioned and then you try to fix it, usually you just dig yourself a bigger hole, and then you're staring out of a ditch after a while. And that's where he is now, because, yeah, you look at this OpTic roster, and that's where the struggle starts, especially when you say, man, I'm going to this great team. And you're like, but you're playing with Zig, Acadian, Arrow, and Elimination. Huh. And that team is not great at all. And you look at all these other stacked rosters, like you said, and there's no way this team competes for Worlds, at least right away, unless you make some changes. And even a top 4 spot. For me, they're a bottom 3 team. And it's tough from the outside looking in to say, man, PowerOfEvil thinks they're going to win Worlds with this roster. This guy's delusion. Misfits was a way better opportunity to actually get to that World stage based on what we see. Who knows? Maybe he knows something we don't. But right away, you look at this roster. and apparently even OpTic's budget not holding up to some of the others in the NALCS. So maybe they got left out of some other opportunities where PowerOfEvil was like, oh, we're going to play with this guy. Wait a second, that's elimination. That's unfortunate. But no matter what, he's going to be the face of this franchise. No doubt he got the most money offered to him of any of these people on OpTic's roster. So, again, it's tough. I agree with you in this fact that it's like, if you say you're going to go to Worlds, this roster's not the best opportunity for you.
No.
Just say, man, great opportunity with OpTic. Hopefully it goes for the best. Done.
Yeah, and the main thing is once people kind of have a small hate train going for you, you can't reason. You can't reason with that whole mob mentality. You can't go in with any kind of logic or anything like that. So yeah, now he should probably just stay away.
Just stop.
Stay away on the social media for a bit. Perform well for EU, and maybe you'll get some love back from them. But honestly, he probably shouldn't have been at All-Stars just because he wasn't the best performing mid laner in EU.
That's a fact. Yes.
But the campaigning worked, so
it worked real well.
It worked real well.
The best thing he can do for his future is get to a Rift Rivals tournament and then just totally sandbag it with OpTic.
Yeah.
And be like,
the double agent.
Did this on purpose, guys, just so EU could win.
Yeah. I
Nice.
mean, he might be going for that long con. The
The long-
problem is OpTic probably has to qualify for one of those tournaments.
That's an issue.
That's a pretty big issue.
Yeah, there's none of these IEMs where you just kind of get invited because all the big teams drop out and they bring in the crappy ones.
But if there's a fan vote to get a team to go to one of these,
And
who can
PowerOfEvil
campaign-
campaigns. Nice.
So that's
We've
the
gone
dream.
full circle.
We've gone full circle. But if PowerOfEvil has a poor performance at All-Stars, he's going to be in some trouble.
He's screwed anyways, to be honest.
He's screwed either way. But,
Once you get that hate, it's tough to get rid of it.
tough to get rid of it, even if you keep performing well. But OpTic, I mean, that gives honestly, without that, OpTic is a pretty boring storyline for me. The most boring team, maybe,
Yeah.
going into the
For sure.
franchising. But now with all this around PoE, it's a game you want to check out. It's games you want to check out.
Yeah. I want
Maybe
to watch
only-
Twitch chat.
Yeah, I want to see Twitch chat when PoE plays. I want to see that Euro for the E for PoE. But
Is there a pitchfork emote? Yeah.
oh, there will be.
They need one.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more esports content.